It's great to finally see a signature on the paper and have it finally confirmed for everyone. The fans are excited, but I mean, what's the buzz you're seeing around the Bay Area, and especially this week when people just want to talk about it?
Well, I can't do anything, whether it's, go to the store, go to golf club, go, pick up food without somebody asking me about it. And like everybody, I have an opinion about it. And like everybody's opinion, I'm excited about it. Look, I mean, besides the fact that he's one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the history of the game, um, he brings a different type of I don't know, prevalence here back to Tampa. The attention will fall squarely on this market again, which I think is as important as the play that he'll bring on the football field. So it's an exciting time. I don't think anybody is upset with this move.
The position the Bucks were in after the end of the season, you just got the sentiment, and it's all through sound bites that they were just ready to move on. Did you think back then that this could be possible, and when we got closer to this week that this was actually a conceivable, a dream come true for Bruce Arians and Jason Light?
Oh yeah, I mean, Jason's made a bunch of great moves over the years. I mean, obviously trading for Jason Pierre-Paul, hitting on Shaq Barrett, if, just talking about the defense. He's not scared to make moves. You can tell that by the way he drafted corners the past three years or whatnot. This one was, not necessarily stepping out on a limb, because I think we all knew that Tom Brady was going to leave New England. That I think it was feasible, yeah, because at the beginning of the year, Jameis had his opportunity. It was his first year under a new coordinator, new head coach, and the results were the same. And you can't take away the fantastic things that Jameis did during the year, but the things that held his team back, I think, really solidified in everybody's mind in that organization that it was time. It was time to find something else. Whether that's a new guy, they still might go get somebody in the draft, but they needed a veteran. And I mean, what better veteran is there than Tom Brady if he's available and he wanted to be here? It should be a good marriage for a couple of years.
I'd have to imagine that Brady wouldn't have done this, or any move for that matter, if he really wasn't sure that he's healthy, he's fit, and hungry to show something. A guy who's done everything in the game to come out and say, I still have work to do. There aren't many people like that in sports. Is he in the right place, do you think, to come to a team like this that has to try and get over the hump?
Dan, you're exactly right. And I think one thing that you didn't mention there in that is this is an attractive place to come. Not just because of the weather and the taxes. I was talking to somebody earlier. That's just hyperbole. This is sport. Tom Brady's coming here because he thinks he can win. You have great pieces in place on defense. Obviously, we know what he's going to be throwing to on offense. If Ronald Jones can turn into a back, if they can get maybe a little bit of help at that position, maybe go across the offensive line. You didn't even mention the tight end situation. Look, there's reasons to believe that they're only one player away, a consistent player with the football at quarterback away from being a contender. Now, this doesn't make them immediate Super Bowl favorites, but you can't not look at this team and say they are going to be a much better football team with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time taking the ball from under center.
You mentioned maybe picking up a quarterback in the draft, and I happen to think that might be really important now at this point, because you're on borrowed time here, even though you have Tom Brady. And if it's not going to be a Super Bowl title, do we need to have this era, let's call it, set up a potential Super Bowl with a franchise quarterback ready to take over?
Sure, absolutely. I think you look at that, you take that aspect anyways. Even if it wasn't Tom Brady here, whoever was going to be playing quarterback, the team, you have small windows to win. Unless you're New England, you'd win forever. But most teams have small windows to win championships. And the way the team is constructed now, with what Mike Greenberg, their cap guy, has done with this franchise, they got the pieces right now. So I think in the next 2 or 3 years, it's their time. Maybe this year, maybe Tom puts them over the hump. Maybe they were one key piece away, and they do make a run at it. But it's to me, football is all about setting yourself up to make a run, and they've set themselves up to make a run. Franchising Shaq, getting JPP back, see what Vita Vea turned into last year. Their draft picks are starting to realize themselves, and if all this comes together, it's going to be a good football team, really good football team.
And heading into the draft now, it looks like they're going to try and stay pat or stand put on as many places as they can on the defense. And if they can get Sue on board, they're on their way to doing that. But now we have a little bit more of a clearer picture of how the draft could materialize. In your own opinion, let's just take that first round pick. Is there a position area or position group that you think can make an immediate impact to supplement this Tom Brady signing?
The offensive line. I mean, I think you got to look at both tackles. Obviously we signed Donovan Smith at left tackle. DeMar Dotson. I don't know what his status is going to be, but you need a tackle, even just for depth for that position. To me, Donovan Smith. Just since I mentioned it, Donovan Smith is probably the most untalked about aspect of this Tom Brady signing. He needs to be really good from here on out. That potential that we see all the time from him needs to be consistently good. But yeah, I'd say they stick there. I mean, they may try to make a run at a quarterback. I doubt they do that in the first round. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it on the second day of the draft. But to me, if you're looking for a place to get better real quick, it's the offensive line. I think we've shown that, we've seen in the NFL these past couple of years, if you can find a top guy at that spot, the top 20 picks of the draft at the offensive line, they can come in and help you right away.
As a guy who played a long time in this league, and obviously Tom Brady's played for a long time, when you get up there, I know we remembered watching you. You were setting yourself up for life after football. A businessman, and I know Tom Brady probably has thoughts in his mind as well, but what makes a human being want to keep going through this after all those years? We've kind of touched on the competition aspect, but is there kind of I don't want to be out of the spotlight, or I'm not sure what I want to do after football? What is it that drives a man to play this sport this long?
That's a great question. For me, it was I still love the game and I still felt like I could do it. Even in the year 15 and 16, I accepted a new challenge. I moved the safety my last year. That was a challenge, and I wanted to excel at that. I think this is a challenge for Tom. He's 43 years old, which is impossible for me to believe that a guy could be playing football at 43 years old. But at that position, especially quarterback, you can do it. I think so many guys, Drew Breeses of the world, have shown that you can do it at an advanced age. And he takes such good care of himself. But to me, I think the challenge is to win outside of New England. I think it's pretty plain and simple. He wanted to go somewhere where he was wanted. I think Bruce and Jason Light proved that they really wanted him, and they were able to get a deal done this week. And he's here now. But it's a challenge. He still wants to prove to everybody that he is Tom Brady, even without the New England Patriots. And it'll be fun ride to watch and see if he's able to do that.
And lastly, can Jameis Winston rewrite his story, you think, in the NFL?
Sure. Absolutely. I don't think anybody is doubting Jameis's ability to better himself. I've said this a couple of times. I feel like I've talked about Tom Brady more in the past week than I have my entire career doing TV. But to circle it back to Jameis, yeah, he needs to find somebody that will help him better himself. You protect him from himself is kind of how I've been saying it, because the guy's got talent. I mean, he's made throws over the past 5 years that I've seen that nobody else can make and nobody else will even attempt. The talent is definitely there. It's the little things, the details of taking care of the football, and the mechanisms of reading defense that causes him to throw some of these ill-advised interceptions. He needs to figure that out, and have a coach that'll protect him from himself. And I think he'll find his way. To me, the quarterbacks that are available out there right now, that are still on the street, he's the best.